Hello guys, my name is Jakub Steiner and I'm gonna be showing you some basics of motion design done in Blender, the 3D package that usually is used for gigantic projects like the Sintel Open Movie, but we're gonna be using a fraction of its potential to create animated mockups because in GNOME 3 part of the great experience is that there's no abrupt changes in the interface. We try to create fluid transitions that are not there just to create a gimmick, but they're there to communicate better the two states that change, and it makes a huge deal when things are not just jumping at you from one state to another. And my fellow designers are using very labor-intensive tools, essentially doing frame-by-frame animations, while a lot of that can be offloaded to the computer to create the intermediate states. And also, Blender is great in that it has tools like the dope sheet and the interpolation curve editor that allows you to tweak the animation, to retime and do various modifications of that, and that is very important because you do want to have the flexibility to alter and find the really sweet spot. So let's get going.
This is the Blender interface. It doesn't look like anything you've seen, hopefully, because if it does look familiar, then this screencast is probably not for you, because I will only cover the basics, the very basics to get you going, to create really simple, essentially 2D animations in Blender. Now I'm gonna revisit why you want to use Blender. Essentially it's because you have a real-time preview of your animation that you're gonna get, and it will allow you to do easy modifications, and you will be able to iterate over multiple designs, which is what we want. As you can see, the real-time preview is not perfect. I got a very low quality textures visible here. Also, there are some issues with alpha compositing some of some of the textures. It's not possible to, for example, do the transitions if you have multiple textures on a pane, which I have here. It really doesn't blend them, so the 3D viewport rendering is not very accurate, but it is still useful just to get an idea how to position things. But we will get into that really soon. Before we begin, I have to mention that this project that you're seeing here is the mock-up of the workspaces, and there's some other mock-ups available in the GNOME Shell design repository, so you can load it up, look for yourself, and you can study it, and it's probably going to be helpful for some of you, just to check. If you get stuck, you can load it up and see what the culprit is. But we will start from a blank blank document. Actually, that is kind of funny, very meta. You can see that Blender actually does everything real time. So you can be, changing the scene, fiddling with the interface, and it just keeps on playing the animation. You could be rendering in the background, but as you can see, Shell is playing along with that. So what you see here is the old iteration of workspaces running in the new iteration of workspaces. Very meta. But let's start from scratch. So this is how the scene looks when you load it up, and there's many things that we won't need. We will definitely not need the light, because we will be using a special mode of textures that essentially shines, so light will not play any role in our scene. We will need the camera, but we will not need this object. But let's start from the very beginning, and that is, what the hell is this interface? It looks nothing like what you may be familiar with. So what the main window, the Blender essentially is like if you were using a tiling window manager. You can set it up any way you want, and you actually have multiple views, which you can see here. So you can rearrange and create new ones, and you can quickly move between them with control and left and right. The biggest viewport here is the 3D view, and you can see that there's it is a header, although in this layout it looks like a footer, but you can actually put it, if you right click on the header, you can put it on top, and you can actually even hide it if you scale the border. It goes away if you click the plus. Actually, no. If you click which plus? There should be a plus. There. Okay. It's gonna pop up again. You can any viewport you can actually split if you drag it by this little corner. You can do the same if you drag it back. It's gonna merge, but it only merges. You can't, for example, merge this one to the left. You would have to first merge it with the one on top, and then with the one on the left. So why do I have a different view here and here? Well, that is determined by this little drop down, and here's the list of all the views that you have. This here is the 3D view, as you can see, and another one that you will very likely always need is the buttons. It's called properties now, so that's where you can actually alter properties of things and switch between the various major components of the workflow. So that should cover it for setting up your environment. But now, when we're inside the actual 3D view, although we will be working on 2D mockups mostly, you would still need to move in the 3D space to select objects, for example, which are on top of each other and that sort of thing. So you will very likely want to have a keyboard with a numerical keypad, because some very essential functionality is bound to the keys in there, and those are the number 7, which shows you the top view, number 1, which is the front, 3, you're looking from the right, and then if you press shift and all of those keys, it's gonna do the inverse. So instead of top, you get actually it's control. Haha, its bottom. If you use Control 1, it's from the back rather than front, and from the left rather than from the right for 3. And you can see that Blender does a really lovely thing, and that is why we're doing it, in the first place, and that's transitions, rather than just giving you 2 states, and you probably would not have as much idea of what's happening. It animates between the states, giving you much more context of what is happening. I like that very much. But it's Blender, so all of this is configurable, and we will not be that. If you want to, I think you can still drag this. No, it actually has a separate pane now, so it's user preferences, and there's lots of things hidden in here. I don't even know how the hell. I can't make it shorter because of this. Well, yeah, it's big. There's lots of things. Hopefully we won't need to dive in there. Let's make it info again and move it back. Okay, so we can change the views like that, but you can also see me pan around. I do that by pressing the middle mouse button, and if I hold Shift, there's probably terms for this. This is probably dolly, I think. I don't know. Rotate the view. If you press Shift, you pan or strafe in games. I don't know. I don't really know the English terms for this. And then if you press Control, you can zoom in and out. You can also use the mouse wheel for that. Another very useful thing that I'm just going to mention, if you want to if you have a very complex scene and you just want to concentrate on a few objects, you can select them. You select them by right clicking, and if you want to select multiple, you just hold Shift, and then on the numerical keyboard keypad, if you push the slash key, it's gonna create a local view which only shows the objects that you selected. If you push it again, you're gonna come back to the whole scene. So that's essentially moving in the 3D space, and then you have transformations.
The time we have for the screencast, however, has run out, and so transformations will be the topic of the next screencast. If you are at all interested in these screencasts, please let me know in the comments, and if there's enough feedback that I get, a positive one that is, I will continue and we will learn all it takes to create animated mockups like the ones you've seen on my blog. So take care guys, and I'll see you next time.